Hello and welcome to Pabbly. Today I have something really exciting to share with you, especially if you are working with Firebase and you want to automate your workflows in real time. Yes, we have officially launched a Firebase Store Webhook connector which is exclusively for Pabbly Connect, and trust me, no other platform offers this kind of instant webhook support for Firebase at the moment. So until now, if you wanted to trigger automation from Firestore, you had to rely on pooling, which means delays, missed updates, and extra API calls. But with this new extension, you can now trigger workflows instantly the moment a Firestore document is created, updated, or deleted, all using real-time webhooks. This is something only Pabbly supports right now, no delays and no waitings. So in this video, I'll walk you through how to install Firebase extension, how to connect it with Pabbly Connect, and how the whole setup works behind the scenes. And of course, we'll also show test of it. So yes, first head over to your Pabbly Connects account and create a new workflow. So I've already opened the dashboard of my Pabbly Connects account. You simply first have to open this, go towards this create workflow button, select the folder, name your workflow right over here, and then click on this button which says create. So yes, with this we have successfully opened the workflow. And now what we have to do is that over here you're going to see that it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger, and that's the particular reason that we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. Alright, so first in the trigger section we have to search for Firebase Firestore. So I'm just going to search for it, which is Firebase Firestore right over here, and select it. And then we have to select the trigger event as configure webhook. And now it has given me a webhook URL. Alright, so keep this URL handy. This is where Firebase will send the data whenever a document is created, updated, or deleted. So now what we have to do is first we have to copy this webhook URL, and then we have to follow this help text, and it is saying log into your Firebase Firestore account. Alright, and then go to the Firebase extension hub and search for Firestore Webhook Connector for Pabbly Connect extension. So what we have to do is you simply have to follow me. It is really easy. We simply have to go to this Firebase extension hubs, and we have to search for the extension right over here, which is Firestore Webhook Connector for Pabbly Connect. And now it is opening a window something like this in front of us. So what we have to do is we simply have to click on this button which says install in Firestore. And over here you're going to see that we have multiple projects right over here. So you simply have to select the project in which you want to install this extension. So you simply have to go towards this and install this extension right from here. But before installing this extension, you have to keep in mind that the billing and the usage of this extension. So Pabbly doesn't charge any amount for this, but Firebase will charge a small amount for this, which is typically around $0.1 per month. Alright, because the Firebase resources are required for this extension. Alright, so to use this extension, your Firebase project must be on the Blaze plan, which is Firebase pay-as-you-go billing tier. Don't worry, enabling Base is simple and you will only be charged based on your actual usage. I'll show you how to activate the Blaze plan right after the installation is completed. Alright, so now I'm just going to move on forward. Over here you can review the billing and the usage and click on this next. So as you can see in the help text, it has clearly mentioned that click on install button, configure all steps one by one by clicking on next button. So we have to follow the same right over here. We are simply going to click on this next. And once we click on this next, the next step is review APIs enabled and resources created. So you can review it right from here and click on this button which says next. And the next thing is review access granted to this extension. So you have to read this one. This is the access which you are granting to this extension. Alright, so now after doing this, I'm just going to click on this next, and now this is saying configure extension, and this is the most important source right over here. So what we have to do is it is saying cloud function location. So first we have to add a location right over here, and you must be wondering from where you're going to get this location. So for that you have to open your Firebase database. So I'm just going to open my Firebase database right over here, and as you can see that this is my project and this is the database of my same project. Over here when you scroll till the end, it is saying database location Asia South 1. 1. So yes, I'm just going to use this same location. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to simply open this location thing, and I'm just going to look for the same, which is Asia South 1, which is Mumbai, and I'm just going to select it. You have to select your database location after going over here and viewing this database location, all right. And now it is asking me for the Firestore database name. So from where you're going to get this, you simply have to open your database, and over you're going to see it is default right now. And if you want, you can definitely select a database right from here, and this is your database name. So if you use the name as default, then only this bracket will be added right over here. But if you use any other name, so let's say I'm just going to use this, so I'm just going to simply copy this name right from here, and we don't have to add any brackets. What you have to do is you simply have to copy this name right from here, and then you have to paste this database name right over here. All right, so you have to do it like this. It is really simple. And if you want to keep it as default, you can keep it as default too. I'm just going to keep it as default only right over here, so I'm just going to select default right over here too, and I'm just going to move on forward. It is saying Pabbly Connect webhook URL. So yes, now what we have to do is I'm just going to open my workflow, and I'm just going to simply copy this webhook URL, and I'm just going to paste it right over here. And after pasting this webhook URL, we have to click on this button which says create secret, and we're just going to create a secret of this webhook URL. So we just have to wait for a few seconds till it is creating the secret. And as you can see, new secret version saved. So yes, you can see that we have successfully created the secret, and now we can move on further. Okay, and now comes the part where we'll tell the Firebase what to watch. Over here, you're going to see 3 fields. One is create, collection path, one is for update, and one is for delete. So let's first understand how paths and wildcard work before filling anything in it. So what are wildcards? So in Firebase, when you write something like this in curly brackets, then it is called wildcard. It simply means match any document inside any collection ID, no matter what the collection ID is and no matter what the document ID is. We have to watch each collection ID and each document ID in our project. And if you want to specify it right over here, you can simply specify the collection ID. So what you can do is you can simply go towards your Firestore database, and over here you're going to see multiple collections. And over here the collection ID is the name of the collection only. So let's say this is users for me. So I'm just going to simply copy and paste this users right over here. So this is my collection ID, and over here for the document ID, I'm just going to keep it as wildcard only. Alright, so here is the thing. When a new document is being created, then its ID doesn't exist yet. So you must use the wildcard in this case for document ID. For example, let's say my collection is users and I want to add the user ID right over here. This will trigger whenever a new user is added. Alright, so I'm just going to keep the document ID as wildcard only right over here. So as you can see that over here, whenever in this user section a new document will be added, automatically the details will be sent towards my webhook URL, which is towards my workflow. Alright, so now I'm just going to move on further. The next is update events. So what is this update events? So over here you can use wildcards for the collection and document as I showed you above, or if you want to monitor any one specific document, then you can specify the document ID to right over here. So you have to go towards your Firebase, and over here you're going to see there are multiple documents IDs. You can simply copy the document ID right from here and paste it right over here to specify the document ID. And you also have to specify the collection ID. If you wish, you can definitely do it right from here. I'm just going to keep both of this as wildcard only and move on further. And the same goes for deleting process too. Alright, so what I'm just going to do is right now I'm just going to keep all as wildcard right over here for the create, update, and delete. All three I'm just going to keep it as wildcard only. But you have to also keep in mind for the delete events that once the document is deleted, it's gone. So again, Firebase can't track a specific document ID because it no longer exists. So you can mention the document ID only in the case of update events, not for the delete and the create, because they are of no use right over here. You can definitely specify the collection ID for create, update, and delete, all of these three. But for the document ID, you majorly have to use this update events only. And now we can move on further. And now it is saying enable create webhooks, enable update webhooks, and enable delete webhooks. So what is this? So these are simple yes and no switches. If you want to trigger a webhook whenever something is created, set the enable create webhooks as yes, or you can say true. And when you want to get the updates when something is changed, you can turn the enable update webhook as true or yes right over here. And if you want to track the deletion too, then set the enable webhook to yes right over here for delete webhooks. So you can turn any of them on and off depending on what you need. So right now, let's say I'm just going to enable this create and delete, and I'm just going to disable this update right over here and move on further. Noticing configure advanced parameters. So if you wish, you can definitely look into this and configure this too. All right, I'm just going to keep it as same only, and now it is asking me for the enable events. So let's say I'm just going to switch it on right from here. So you must be wondering, what is this enable events? So this is one of the powerful built-in feature of this extension, that it automatically tracks everything happening behind the scenes. From the moment the extension is installed, it starts logging useful activities like when the document is created, updated, deleted, or when a webhook is delivered successfully or fails, and even when the configuration changes are made. So what you can do is you can simply select the location right from here, and once again you have to select the event right from here. You first have to read the help text, with the help of which you're going to know which event to select right over here. These events help you monitor the full journey of the automations, troubleshoot issues, and make sure that your workflow is running smoothly without needing any manual setup from your side. Alright, so if you wish, you can definitely enable this events, but this is not required, so I'm just going to switch it off right from here. And after doing all of this, what we're going to do is we are simply going to click on this button which says install extension. And now it is saying installing extension, so we're just going to wait for a few time, and over here you're going to see that it is saying this should take 3 to 5 minutes to install this extension. Alright, so we're just going to wait for a few time right over here. So yes, you can see that now instead of showing me installing, it is showing me error installing. So now in some cases you might see an error while installing the extension, something like this. So what you have to do is you simply have to go towards this see details, and over here you're going to go towards this view details, and you're going to learn what is the error while installing the extension. So if the error installing extension is failed to update IAM roles for service account, so let me explain this, that this isn't an error on Pabbly's side. This is something that happens on Firebase side when certain permissions or roles couldn't be applied properly to the extension's service account during the setup. So you must be wondering how we can solve this. So it is really easy. What you have to do is you simply have to go towards this settings, which is towards this project settings, and then we have to go towards this users and permissions. And after coming over here, what we have to do is we simply have to scroll down, and over here you're going to see the button of this advanced permission settings. So we simply have to go towards this advanced permission settings, and now we have to sign in my account. So I'm simply going to sign in my account right from here. So yes, you can see that I've successfully signed in my account right over here. And now after sign in the account, over here you have to go towards the left side of the bar towards this IAM only. You have to keep this in mind, and over here you're going to see all the projects which we already have. So as you can see, the name of my project is new email, so I'm just going to look for the same project right over here. And what we have to do is after coming over here towards this same project, we have to go towards this edit principle, and after coming over here towards this edit principle, you're going to see the principle and the projects. And what you have to do is you simply have to add another role right over here. You have to go towards this basic and then towards this owner and click on this save. And once you do this, now you are ready. Now what you have to do is you have to go back towards your extensions, go towards this see details, view details, and you have to click on this button which says retry installing. And now automatically within 3 to 5 minutes your extension will be installed. So yes, right now I showed you how you can fix this error too right over here. So now we're just going to wait for 3 to 5 minutes till this extension is getting installed in my account. So yes, you can see that this extension has been installed right over here. And now what we have to do is we simply have to go towards this get started, and as you can see over here, you're going to see how this extension works. If you go towards this extension configuration, you can edit or change this by simply going to go towards this reconfigure extension. But before editing this, I'm just going to first show you a real-time example. All right, so what I did it, I've connected this extension with this workflow right over here, right? So first we're just going to capture this webhook response, and to capture this webhook response, we have kept two events as true: create webhooks and delete webhooks in any collection, right? So what I'm just going to do is first I'm just going to open my Firebase database. And then what I'm just going to do is, like, let's say in this users, I'm just going to add a document. Now I'm just going to fill in this document ID as auto ID. Let's say for the field, I'm just going to add the field as name right over here. Keep the type as string only. Now over here for the string, I'm just going to enter the name. Let's say it is demo user. So I'm just going to enter demo user. Then let's say I'm just going to add another field, which is age right over here. I'm just going to enter the age right over here. Then I'm just going to add another field. Let's say I'm just going to keep it as email. So I'm just going to enter email. And let's say I'm just going to enter the email too right over here. And after entering all of this, let's say I'm just going to simply click on this button which says save. And as you can see that we have successfully created a document in this users, and we're going to see the three fields which we have created: name, email, and age. And now I'm just going to open my workflow, and we're just going to see that Pabbly has successfully captured the response for the same. You're going to see the name, the email, and the age. So yes, this was true because we have simply selected this extension, enable create webhook as true right over here. And now I'm just going to test it for delete webhook. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to first simply click on this recapture webhook response so that we can capture another response right over here. And now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go back towards my database, and over here let's say I'm just going to delete this right from here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go towards this document, three dots, and I'm just going to click on this delete document and click on this start delete. And once I'm just going to click on this start delete, with this we have successfully deleted it right from here. So now I'm just going to open my workflow, and you're going to see that document deleted is the event type, and the details are exactly the same. So yes, now I showed you how we can do this for create and delete, and now we are just going to test for the update too. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to simply click on this recapture webhook response and then yes. And now what I'm just going to do is first I'm just going to edit this. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go towards this reconfigure extension right over here. If you wish to change the webhook URL, you can simply go towards this show. You can simply change the webhook URL right from here. You simply have to copy the webhook URL from your workflow, and then you have to paste it right over here. But over here is a thing. When you paste the webhook URL, you first have to click on the button right over here so that my webhook gets added. All right, so first I'm just going to add the secret right over here and move on further. Now what I'm just going to do is over here you're going to see that in the updates, first I'm just going to make this as yes. Then I'm just going to add a collection ID right over here. All right, so I'm just going to add the collection ID of this users. Let's say I'm just going to simply add this right over here. I'm just going to paste this collection ID, and now I'm just going to edit this. And now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to click on this save button right over here. So yes, it is saying saving your updated configuration. This should take 3 to 5 minutes. All right, so we're just going to wait 3 to 5 minutes right over here. And now you can see that we have successfully updated it right over here. You're going to see that now the document path for update events is users and any document ID. So let's say now I'm just going to show you the proper working of this update events too. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to open my workflow, and I'm just going to click on this recapture, which I've already done. So I'm just going to open my Firestore database, and over here let's say in this users I'm just going to update something. So I have to keep in mind that I selected the collection ID as users right over here. So only if I update in users, then only this workflow is going to get triggered. All right, so I'm just going to update something in this users. I'm just going to open this. Let's say I'm just going to edit the age. Let's say instead of 21, I'm just going to keep it as 24 now and click on this update. And as you can see that we have successfully updated this right over here, and I'm just going to open my workflow, and you're going to see that Pabbly has also captured the response for the same. This is the before age and this is the after age, which is the changes which was in the age section. So yes, you can see that we have successfully captured the response for update event 2. Now let's try that. I'm just going to click on this recapture webhook response, and then yes. Let's say that I selected this path as users right over here, but let's say I'm just going to go towards this new leads and update something right over here. Let's see what I'm just going to update is I'm just going to update the city right over here. Let's say instead of Bhopal, I'm just going to keep it as Indore right over here and click on this update. And yes, over here you can see that I've successfully updated this, but the response for the same has not been captured right over here because I selected the collection ID as users. But now let's say I'm just going to update one more thing in this users. Let's say I'm just going to update this right over here. Instead of user, I'm just going to select it as lead right over here and click on this update button. And yes, you can see I've updated this. I'm just going to open my workflow, and Pabbly is going to capture the response for this. You can see that this is the change in role. It has been now lead, before it was user. So it has captured the details which we submitted in the users, right? So yes, now with this we have successfully successfully learned how to create, update, or delete, or you can say how to capture the details of create, update, or delete events. So yes, this Pabbly Connect's integration is completely in real time, faster, and way more efficient. It has fewer API calls, instant execution, and better automation control. So that's how easy it is to instantly connect Firebase Store with Pabbly Connect using this new webhook extension. And like I said you that I'll let you know about this pricing. So what you have to do is you have to open a new tab and open this URL, which is this. So you're going to get this in the description. You can open it directly from there. And after opening this, what you have to do is you simply have to go towards this billing option right over here, and then you have to go towards this manage billing accounts. And after coming over here towards this manage billing account, you have to go towards this add billing account, and you can add the billing right from here. All right, you have to go towards this agree and continue. Over here, what is going to happen is you have to add the billing right from here. You have to select the payment profile, payment method, and you have to add the billings. Over here, the billing plan should be Blaze, like you can see in my account. So yes, now with this we have successfully completed this video, and this is the first of its kind setup that puts us ahead of the game. Try it out today and experience the real-time automation at its best. And while trying, if you have any doubts, you can directly drop your doubts in the comment section below. See you in the next video with many more automation tips, everyone. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can connect many more applications. So now if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com, and if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this URL. And now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect.